What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about what is in my camera bag. I love watching these videos and I'm even more excited to make this video. This is 95% of the gear that I'll take along for my portrait photography, also my wedding photography, and this is also what I take along for my travel. My video setup is a lot bigger than this, so it's pretty minimal. There is a little bit of video gear in here, but let's just jump right into it. So this camera bag is what I consider pretty much the best camera bag on the market right now for the price. I've had this for about 2 months now. I've put it through hell. I've been traveling a lot down dusty roads, dumping it on the ground, and it's kept all my gear really nice and safe and dry. So just a quick disclaimer, I did actually reach out to Timber and they did provide me this bag, but they didn't sponsor this video in any other way. I can pretty much say what I want. They just said, hey, here's the bag, send us the video. So the first thing I don't like about this camera bag is that it has a side access. I would much rather having 2 of these drink bottle holders. You can put drink bottle in a tripod, you can put 2 tripods, you can put some lights. I just don't use the side access. If you guys are hearing a bit of rattle, that's because of this Peak Design quick release plate. This is a great little investment. I highly recommend you guys picking this up, as you can quickly just slip your camera straight into the side here and it's just sitting on your shoulder. It does get a little bit heavy, so I wouldn't recommend it for a long hike. And another great thing about this clip, it is actually a tripod plate. So recently at a wedding, I forgot one of my tripod plates. I was kind of stressing out and I just attached this to my camera and it fits in my Arca Swiss plate. So I really like how this bag is a clamshell open rather than some other bags where they open from the front. I don't like that aspect, as someone could literally just open and all your gear could fall out. This, when it's on your back, you know that nothing's gonna fall out. Open it up, just your classic clamshell design. Now, this row is reserved for my camera bodies. I usually have 2 Sony A7IVs or a Sony A7IV and FX30. Filming on the FX30 right now, and also Sony A7IV is our top-down camera. So believe it or not, you can actually fit another body in here attached to this lens, which is the Tamron 70-180. I think this lens is amazing. It just has one personal flaw, if you want to put it that way. Firstly, the zoom ring and the focus ring is around the wrong way. Most lenses, whether that's Nikon, Canon, Sony, probably Lumix and Fuji as well, zoom lenses, they have the zoom ring here and the focus ring here. And again, this zooms the opposite way to Sigma and Sony, but it's the only really third-party option for the Sony system. It's actually a really affordable lens. It's 70-180, 2.8. Image quality is great, it's a sharp lens, autofocus is great, no complaints that way. And also the build quality is a little bad because I did actually break this one and then I kind of broke Mitch's one too, so. Great lens, can't really recommend it. If you can afford it, pick up the 70-200 G Master 2. And then this bay here is basically my go-to setup, and this is my main camera body. I put all my camera bodies down this way so I can quickly grab them, put them back in. I can get SD cards out if I need to, and if I need to get the battery out, I can literally just... The camera body is, of course, the Sony A7IV. I own 2 of these cameras. I think they're the best mirrorless camera, hybrid camera on the market right now. The photos at 33 megapixels is like a perfect ratio where you don't get massive file sizes, but you still get plenty of room to crop. Having that extra resolution gives you all that extra detail and colors. And then for video, 33 megapixels is kind of on the high end for video, but it works really well with the Sony A7IV for whatever reason. The 4K 25 frames per second is super sharp. The 4K 60 is even sharper somehow. Catalyst browse, active steady shot, standard steady shot. You don't get any wobble. S-Log free, amazing picture profile, 10-bit 422. The only real complaint I do have with the A7IV is the rolling shutter. It's just pretty bad. It's pretty bad rolling shutter, but what can you really expect for an entry-level camera? And then attached to the Sony A7IV, I have the lens that I use about 95% of the time, and it really does not come off this camera. And that is the Sigma 24-70 f2.8. I've done a bunch of videos on this full setup. I've reviewed this lens, so if you guys want to watch that, link in the description. Really highly recommend if you're getting into photography or videography is picking up a 24-70 and the Sony A7IV, and can't go wrong. So we have the 70-200, the 24-70, and then we have a 50mm f1.4 from Sigma, and the cap's in here. So this is a recent pickup, 50mm, very versatile focal length. I think it's a bit of a boring focal length, but it has got me out of a lot of tricky lighting situations, being f1.4, massive difference between 1.4 and 2.8. Photos, you can really drop your ISO, super sharp, super fast, really affordable. I wouldn't recommend buying G Master lenses. They're a little bit lighter. You get that focus breathing compensation, but yeah. Now moving on to the last camera body. This is a recent pickup and it is a film camera. It's the Canon A1. I got this one because it has the shutter priority and aperture priority. I use it on film, overexpose it by 1 stop. Pictures look great. A few situations that you need to really like meter the light, meter the shadows, meter the highlights. The meter in this camera is not the best. You're kind of spraying and praying and seeing what's happening. Film does have a huge latitude, especially in the highlights, so I usually just try to push it a little bit or overexpose. So in this compartment is my drone. This one's kind of packly tight. Sometimes if I'm not allowed to fly a drone, I'll just bring another lens and leave this behind. You kind of pick this all up at once. There's a spare battery, that's the controller. This is the drone. This is the DJI Mini 3. You guys probably heard about this drone. Was going to buy the Mavic 3, ended up buying this because it's just so small and compact. Actually bought it off Mitch. Cheers Mitch for the mates rates. Yeah, can't really say much about it. Image quality is amazing. The video capabilities. I don't really use slow motion, but the photos coming out of this drone is pretty epic. So moving on to this pocket, it's kind of like the junk pocket where everything just kind of fits in. So this has got my SSDs in here. Carlo gave me this little pouch. Shout out to Carlo for my birthday, and not much to see in there, just these. I got a bunch of these T5 2TB SSDs and a cable in there. So I have one for photos, one for weddings, and one for YouTube. So, and then when I get home, back to the office, I'll dump all that onto a RAID system, reformat these and start again. So that's that. Then this is something that I picked up about 2 months ago. I did a big trip around New Zealand and Australia and then back to Bali. And I was really carrying around a lot of different chargers. So my MacBook has a charger, my iPhone has a charger, all of this, camera batteries and all this shit has chargers. So this you get 160 watts out of 4 Thunderbolt ports. So I can charge my MacBook, which is 100 watts, my iPhone, which is 20 watts, and then I can also charge the batteries of my A7IVs or my Sony cameras and also the drone. So everything in this bag I can charge off 1 port. In here, pretty boring. It's actually my girlfriend's pouch, but SD cards. I think I'm gonna hold about 10 SD cards. I'm using the Pro Grade V60 cards. You can record 4K 60, 10-bit 422 on these. 128 gigabytes is perfect. Yeah, I think they're just really reliable, cheap cards. I wouldn't recommend anything else unless you're gonna spend the money on the Sony Tough cards. So it's my little pouch. If you guys wanna pick up any of this like accessories, Sony A7IV, the lenses, SD cards, batteries, the bag, there will be links in the description down below. In here, really cheap pouch. It's from Newer, but 4 batteries. It's kind of like an army pouch. It's good, it folds, you can fit it anywhere. It's no rough edges, it's not gonna scratch any of my lenses. You'll see a bit of a theme in this bag. I try to keep everything in pouches because like SSDs are made of metal, they got hard corners, they can scratch stuff, so. And it's nice and organized. I know I'm not gonna lose anything. In here, these are the only cables that make it into my camera bag. An iPhone charger and a USB-C. I can charge my laptop via USB-C if I need to. I've got the 16-inch MacBook. I don't need to really charge it when I travel, I just charge it when I get home. And I've got this thing, Xsoon phone monitor. And what it does is that you can plug an HDMI cord into here and then a USB-C into your lightning cable into your iPhone. And now you can monitor your footage. So I don't really trust the LCD screens on the Sony cameras. It's been a bit of an issue. It's really easy to underexpose your footage on the monitors. So iPhones have really great screens. You get all the LUTs that you can import into the app, the D-squeeze. So I'm shooting on anamorphic lenses and stuff like that. So really great little travel monitor system for video. So highly recommend you guys picking that up. Finally, in this little random pouch is a dust blower. Now this one is from VSCO and it is super powerful. The reason why I like carrying this around is because I can clean not only my CMOS sensors, because it is designed for that, and you do actually have a very fine filter that's going to filter out any dust coming in through the blower. But you can blow off all your other gear, like your drone, your laptop, your bag, whatever. It just requires a button down here to turn it on. You actually get a little flashlight. So if you look around your camera bag, can't find stuff, it's really great for that. Not too powerful, so it is rated for the correct amount of air through this nozzle that's meant to hit a sensor to blow the dust off. Calibrated, that's that. So in this pouch here, you can actually see there's nothing there, and I intentionally leave that blank when I'm packing for a trip, because you can actually access that pouch from up in here. So this is what I call like kind of like the loft, and I can put a whole camera body in here with the 24 to 70, the 70 to 200, so it just sit inside here. Yeah, and I like to keep this empty. Just sometimes I like to take a jumper along with me when it's cold. Last but not least is what's in here. So this is where you put your laptop, 16-inch MacBook Pro, and also praise this bag having this in this compartment. I don't like them when they're against my back because I feel like the lenses are pushing on the laptop. I do sometimes put my girlfriend Maria's laptop in here as well. She's got the 14-inch, makes my bag super heavy, but you know, having a girlfriend, you kind of gotta break your back. And in this pouch is something I think everyone should invest in. Do you want to guess what it is? It's an air tag. These are a very cheap insurance solution, and I think everyone in their camera bag should have one of these. This camera bag's great because it's very hidden. Like sometimes I forget where it is, and sometimes I need to find it to change the battery. I don't have to say much. Like if someone steals your bag and you hide an air tag in it, you can find your bag pretty quick. You know, I think sometimes this bag is worth well over like 10 to 15 grand when it's fully packed. And for like a $10, $15 air tag, I think it's a must investment. And in here, I just put in my passports. This is kind of cool. This is my first ever check from YouTube. It's $15.80 American. So that is my main photography camera bag, the Timber New York 1997 Access V2 25 litre.